I mean, this could probably be one of the most damaging drugs, yet people don't even realize that they're using it. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. Let's today talk about the drug of choice that destroys most people's lives. Now, if I ask you the question, what drug do you think it is that most people use that destroys their life? Now, some of you might say, well, if I think about the drug that destroys most people's lives, it's probably heroin, or it could be amphetamines. Painkillers is definitely a big one. I mean, that's the most used drug on the planet from what I believe, or from what I remember. I know in Australia, it's the number one used medication, I believe, or painkillers or some sort of a pain suppressant. That's what most people would say. But what about if I were to tell you that there's a drug that you probably use quite frequently, and it's something that you might not even be aware of? But I 100% guarantee it is destroying your life and you don't even realize it. What is that drug, you say? It's procrastination. That drug is a drug that the majority of society use. They use it to defer making decisions. They use it to put off doing things. They use it because they're afraid. They use it because they lack confidence. They use it because they lack skills. Most people procrastinate. I mean, why do people go out and get pissed or drink on the weekends? It's a form of procrastination. They know that they should be doing other shit. No one goes out drinking knowing that it's helping them to achieve optimal health, that's for sure. So why then do people get blasted on the weekends or go out with friends and sit around and just watch sporting matches and get drunk and yell? Why do they do that? It's a form of procrastination. I mean, if people really sat there and took responsibility for their lives and got really, really clear of what they wanted, if I said to you, you can have the goals that you want, you can have the dreams that you want, and you can have the life that you want. Or you can sort of potentially want to get there one day, but you spend 2 days a week and we're just going to write it off. We're going to write it off however you're going to do it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use some form of drug, whether that be alcohol or whether that be some form of illegal drug, or maybe it could be painkillers. We're going to use some form of drugs. It could be food. And what we're going to do is we're going to numb you for a couple of days. So we're going to numb you for 2 days, and then you're going to feel those effects for another 2 to 3 days afterwards. And then by the time you start coming out of that foggy haze from those 2 days where you got blasted, then we're going to do it again. Is that going to get you to where you want? Most people say no, right? It's obvious. But when I watch the behaviors of most of society, especially in Australia, but also in America, I know that it happens. I know that it happens throughout Europe. On weekends, people ride themselves off. They ride themselves off with sport. Now, you can't control the outcome of that game, unless you're a professional player. I know that we do have some professional athletes who listen to this podcast. If you can control the game, all the best to you. You're getting paid, you're doing something that you love, and you can control the outcome. Or you can at least give your best effort to try to control the outcome. If you're sitting in the grandstands, you're blasting alcohol, which now means that you're wasting money, you're wasting time, you're fucking up your health and your mindset, yet you've got these big goals and big dreams. No wonder why you're not where you want to be. It's a form of procrastination. A lot of people say to me, but Michael, I work really, really hard. Weekends are a time to just recover and recuperate. And I'm like, hang on. You told me you're using alcohol. You're using drugs. You're using food. All of those things are not recovery mechanisms. If you use food the right way, yeah, it is. But we're talking about you eating shitty food, like you're smashing pizzas, you're overeating food, you're having hot chips. That's not recovery food, so let's not play that game. Then they say, yeah, but alcohol helps me to relax. Alcohol does not help you to relax. It is not a tool that you use to relax and recover. What it does is it's a depressant. So if you're switched on and your brain's always on all the time because you have no tools to be able to deal with your brain being on all the time, and you don't have the right mindset, or you don't have the right mindset tools, or you're not in the right environment to deal with this stuff, then you've got to have a strategy to do that. You use alcohol to do that. It's a suboptimal tool. It's not getting you the results that you want. But people use it all the time. I spoke to someone the other day and they're like, yeah, I just get home from work and I have a couple of beers. Okay, cool. A couple of beers. That's helping you to wake up more effectively. It's helping you sleep. Sleep is recovery. Everybody knows that sleep is the number one performance enhancer in a person's life. It is the number one thing. So if your sleeping patterns are shit, your daily productivity is going to be shit. So when I work with clients, I'm like, we need to focus more on sleep. And I will prioritize sleep over everything else. I'll prioritize sleep over a gym session. I will prioritize sleep over food. I'll prioritize sleep if I can. Now, I'm not the best sleeper. Like, I've always had weird sleeping patterns and shit like that. I've spoken about it on the podcast. I've tried doing different times. I've tried doing different wake ups. And I go through stages where I get up at 4 or 5 o'clock every morning consistently. But then, an event pops up. That event I work until later. Then from there, that screws up my sleeping cycle. And then it takes me a couple of weeks to get it back again. But what my point is like, we want to work on the things that are going to enhance the quality of your life, not detract from it. And most of you who are listening to this podcast right now are doing things that detract from your life, and they're a form of procrastination. If you're drinking, it is a form of procrastination. You're using it as a way to chill out. You're using it as a way to relax. Yesterday, I worked with a dude who was 36 years of age and has a company worth $70 million. Right? And this dude is like, he's got great energy. He's an intense dude. But, he says, I go out and I drink and things like that, and I have some fun. And I said, well, why isn't work fun? Let's have a look at that. And he goes, well, work is fun. I said, then why do you need fun with alcohol? And he goes, oh, I guess it helps me to connect with my old friends. That's the problem there. And I said, here's the thing. This is what good leadership looks like. Good leadership means that you make decisions that most other people can't and won't make. So if you want to be a great leader for your family, then make the decisions that other people won't make. If you're a good leader with your friendship circle, make the decisions that other people won't make. If you're a good leader in your business, you make decisions that other people won't make. This is why our politicians in this day and age are so weak, because they are more worried about the party winning elections and doing the right thing by the masses of people who vote for them. That's because they're weak leaders. Great leaders say, I know this is going to feel shit right now, but this is going to be better in the long run. That's great leadership. So if you want to be a better leader in your friendship circle, then you stop drinking. You tell them that I don't drink anymore, and watch, they will start to change. You've got to change the dynamics of the friendship circles that you're in. If you catch up with family and every time you catch up, it's always around food, then food is going to make you feel like family's there. So when you have a day where you're stressed, where you have a day where you're frustrated and you want some sort of connection because you feel isolated, maybe been overworking or something, naturally your brain's going to kick in and unconsciously you're going to want food. I have that pattern. I grew up with a grandmother who used to feed me a lot. And so when I get stressed out, the first thing that my brain does is go pizza, chocolate, hot chips, or French fries. All of those things happen because of the way that I got brought up, because food still has some form of relationship with me between caring, nurturing, love. And when I was able to do that, I was able to relax. So I would use food as a relaxant as well, because I was always around my grandmother she always made everything safe. So if I was stressed out at school, I would go to my grandma's house, she would feed me up, and I'd just sit on the couch and I'd just chill out. So now when I get overstressed or overworked, my brain kicks in and goes, hot chips, fries, pizza, takeaway food. And then it allows me to relax. But that's something called a neuroassociation. My brain is associating those feelings with old memories. But that doesn't help you to achieve what you want. Okay, that for me was a form of procrastination. I would use food as a way of procrastinating because I wasn't dealing with shit in my own life. I either wasn't making the decisions that I need to make, I wasn't being effective with the results that I was trying to create, or I just didn't know where I was going. I didn't have that clarity. So look at your own life and ask yourself, where are you procrastinating? What drug of choice are you using? Are you using alcohol as a form of procrastination? Are you using food as a form of procrastination? Do you use drama and bullshit as a way of creating some form of procrastination? I mean, most people get caught up in other people's drama for that exact reason. It changes their focus away from their life to somebody else's. If I can sit around and talk shit about everybody else's life, it makes my life feel better, and I don't have to focus on all the shit that I'm not doing. Now, you spend your weekends doing that every weekend. Now you have an association with connection, caring, nurturing, attention. All of those things are all now related to friendship. And so when you start to feel isolated, you're going to create drama and chaos in your own mind. Neuroassociations are so important to understand because most of the time, if you have a goal and you're doing stuff that is counterproductive towards the goal, right? So you want to lose weight, but you're still eating shitty food. It's normally not the food that's the problem, and it's not the habit of eating that's the problem. What it is the neuroassociation around food that you've created from your past. This is also the reason why people don't get ahead financially and they self-sabotage. Because if they have a past neuroassociation that money's bad, money's evil, money's wrong, and you grew up with family who judge people with money or something like that, or you've done it before because you watch TV or you watch the news or whatever, then what will happen is when you get money, you unconsciously sabotage that because you have a past neuroassociation or an association with money being bad. And so therefore you're working your ass off to try to get ahead. You make all this money and you're like, fuck, where's all my money gone? I don't understand why I can't get ahead. But you have an unconscious self-sabotage pattern, which is based on past neural associations. So look, team, what I want you to do is go and assess your life. Ask yourself, where am I procrastinating? Procrastinating is anything that you're putting off that's helping you to move towards your goal. If you're not consistently working on improving those areas of procrastination, then you're using the most common drug of choice in the world. And that is just putting shit off. People do it all the time with decisions. You guys message me and you're like, I've been thinking about doing your event for 3 years. And I'm like, imagine if you just did it 3 years ago. Imagine how much further ahead you'd be. Oh, I've been thinking about buying an investment property. And I'm like, how long? Oh, 10 years. I'm like, cool. Imagine if you did it 10 years ago. Even this morning, I was talking to Jess and we've just hired someone like a financial controller who still works for a multi-billion-dollar company, but he's a CFO for that company, right? Which is a private enterprise, by the way. So it's not a publicly listed company. He's now come on board and he's helping us out as like our chief financial controller. Anyway, he sent a report with the stuff that he needs to work on. And Jess and I were talking about it and she said, oh, I'm not sure like where we should start and what we should do. Like there's a fair bit of stuff to work on. And my first thing was, right, we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision today. So let's get things moving. What's going to be the fastest results, the biggest bang for our buck? And ask those questions to him and let him make that decision. Because the thing is, the longer you put off decision making, the harder the decision becomes over time because you have time pressure on it. So if you're used to making decisions fast, you actually normally don't have a lot of time pressure. The guy that I worked with yesterday who's worth $70 million and is 36 years of age, or his company does $70 million in revenue, I should say. He's a fast decision maker. He bought a company for multi-million dollars. It took him like a month to put that whole deal together, secure it, execute it, and done. Now, how does he do that? Because he makes decisions fast and he goes, right, we're going to buy this business. I've been looking for this stuff here. We found what we wanted. All right, let's go. And then he pushes all of his weight behind it and makes it work. Most people don't do that. And because of that, they end up having time pressure as well. So they're like, shit, I need to make a decision. I keep putting off going to the gym. I keep putting off working with a coach. I keep putting off going to an event. I keep putting off hiring someone in my business. The more you do that, the more time pressure stacks. So eventually you're normally going to make an erratic decision because now you've got time pressure plus the decision, right? That's hard. Just make fucking decisions, make them fast, and you'll move heaps faster through life. So anyway, Driven Mofos, that's your homework. Go and find out where you're procrastinating. What tools of choice do you use? Do you use drama? Do you use sport? Do you use alcohol? Do you use drugs? How do you put off making decisions? How do you put off working hard? How do you put off doing the things that you need to do to get the results that you want? Driven Mofos, have a great day. Keep kicking ass. And I want to say a massive thank you to all of you out there who keep rating and reviewing this podcast. If you haven't done so and you're listening to this podcast, please click the little star button on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to and give it a star rating. It helps us to get out to more people. And also it's a way that you can say thank you back to me and back to my team for putting out these podcasts pretty much every day of the week, right? It's super tough. But I do it because I want to help you guys grow. I want to help you get the results. And the way that you can show that appreciation is please just rating and reviewing this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Anyway, team, thanks so much. Stay driven. I look forward to joining me back here for the next episode. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.